Okay, we are on the culminating lesson of geometry today. This is probably the most important theorem that you'll ever have to be memorized. That's perfect English. Yeah, this is the most important theorem, and you will probably use this in every single math class from here on out.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What does that last word say of the...
So given a right triangle, the theorem says this: if there is a right triangle, of course we have the right triangle here to the left, then the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the square of the legs. So which one's the hypotenuse, you guys? Across from the right angle. Very good. This is the hypotenuse. So that means the other two sides are legs. That's a leg, and that's a leg. Now, the more common way that people recognize the Pythagorean theorem is by labeling the legs A and B. So if I label this A and label this B, it doesn't matter which one I label, and label the hypotenuse C, then the Pythagorean theorem says, in nice big blue letters for you, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. There it is right there in math language. Now, the way that students get themselves in troubles is, what if I accidentally then did, not accidentally, but what if I called this C, this A, and this B? Does the theorem still apply? Of course the theorem still applies. It always applies, but it's labeled differently, right?
Yes.
How would you label this one? C squared plus B squared equals A squared. So it matters which letter is where. It always equals the hypotenuse. So don't get yourself into trouble, okay? So even if it's labeled like that, don't get yourself into trouble. A, B, and C. This was the original way that I had it up, all right? This is what you have to remember. And these two over here are always the legs, okay? So the legs, the sum of the square of the legs equals the square of the hypotenuse. That's the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, we'll do a very straightforward example before we do a more interesting example. Okay? So I've got, what are the length of my two legs, gentlemen? 4 and 6. What is the hypotenuse? The hypotenuse is x. So what does the Pythagorean theorem say? 6 squared plus 4 squared has to equal x squared. So 36 plus 16 has to equal x squared. How much is 36 and 16? So 52 has to equal x squared. Therefore, x has to be the square root of 52. Ladies and gentlemen, what do we need to do with that? Well, can we reduce that? Yes, we can. Because that's equal to the square root of 4 times the square root of 13. Which, of course, is 2 square root of 13. This would be the proper answer. If you give me that and you don't reduce, take points off. So you've got to simplify as far as you can go. Okay, here we go. We have a right triangle here we want to solve for x. We're going to use the Pythagorean theorem. This one's a little more interesting for us. Okay, so what do we know? What can we say?
What do we know? 5x, x plus 1.
Those are all the, yep, that's how they're labeled. Okay, so we can say this. 5 squared plus x squared equals x plus 1 all squared. Alright, our goal is to solve for x. So we're going to have 25 plus x squared equals, don't mess this part up. There you go, x squared plus 2x plus 1. Don't mess that part up. A plus b squared is equal to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Don't forget the 2ab, everyone always does. Good. Now what do we do? Simplify. Check it out. X squareds go away. 25 is equal to
24 is equal to
2x plus a 1. So therefore 24 is 2 x's. Therefore a single x must be 12. Okay, what can we say for this example for the Pythagorean theorem? We have a right triangle. Very good. We have x squared plus the other x squared equals the whole thing, 7 radical 2 all squared. Okay? How many x squareds are on the left-hand side? 2 of them. So I have 2 x squareds on the left-hand side. Now, don't mess this part up. What's 7 squared? 49. What's rad 2 squared? 2. Yeah, do you see that? So 2x squared is now equal to, what's double 49? 98, I think. Yes, sir. We divide by 2.
49 radical. I don't know.
Okay, see, don't mess this part up. When you take 7 rad 2 and square it, you have to square each part. 7 squared and rad 2 squared. You square the whole thing. So therefore, I'm getting x squared is now equal to, what's half of 98, everybody? 49. Therefore, x must be what? X must be 7.